the University of Lincoln, we recognise that change is coming, and we're preparing our students to lead that change. That means a great student experience underpinned by world-class research. With our students, we're solving global challenges in fields like health, energy, agriculture and climate. So come to an open day and be the change.
Hello everyone, welcome to our live lounge. We're really happy to have you all. I'm Sophie, I'm a third year law student. I'll just let everyone else introduce themselves. So Nat, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so hi everyone, so my name is Nat. I'm one of the student leaders at the Students' Union. So I'm no longer a student, I was a student last year, and I kind of help run the Students' Union and make sure that it's all tailored towards students and make sure you all have a fun time. So.
Great. Callum, do you want to go next?
Thank you, Sophie. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Callum, and I'm a master's student studying management with human resources.
Brilliant. And Max?
My name's Max, and I'm a third year PE and sports student. I also work alongside student ambassadors in my spare time.
Great. So we'll kick it off with our first question. So what are the things that students have to look forward to when they arrive here at Lincoln? Nat, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so from kind of Students' Union perspective, we put on a massive range of events for Freshers Week. So we're currently, we've got wristbands up for sale at the moment for all the events that we're doing, but there's a massive range of things from kind of Freshers Fairs, sports fairs, societies fairs, all the way through to our nighttime events, but we've also got cinemas, escape rooms, trips to arcades and things like that. So there's a whole host of things happening during Welcome Week that we're running. So if that's kind of something you're interested in, you can head over to lincolnsu.com/freshers, and that will give you kind of a deeper understanding of what we're offering and kind of what you can buy and things like that. So we kind of are doing all of those fun kind of Welcome Week activities alongside the stuff that you'll probably do when you get to Lincoln and your course and all of that.
Yeah, brilliant. Callum, do you have an answer to that question?
Yeah, so you're in a completely new environment to explore your potential and discover new interests as you settle into Lincoln. And, you know, meeting your flatmates for the very first time is probably one of the most exciting experiences I had when I first came to uni. To, you know, fun icebreaker activities to get together, getting to know everyone, and just, you know, making the most of, you know, your freshers week and everything you have to look forward to in your first year at uni.
Yeah, Max, do you have anything to add?
Similarly, been separated on the Welcome Week. So this year it's the week beginning 26th. So I'm part of a sports student. I know then afterwards on exercise science. It's a whole range of activity, things like an induction event, campus meetings, tutor, as well as a load of sorting workshops this year. So it's very, it can often, depending on the sort of course you're applying, well, there's often a whole host of different activities run by your course.
Yeah, great. It is breaking up a little bit there, guys. Sorry if you're having any connection issues. We've just had a question in the chat. How/when do you get your timetable? So this will probably be before a week or two before Welcome Week. So Welcome Week is from the 26th. It may be that week or a couple of weeks before. I'm not 100% sure, but you should get it in plenty of time. And I believe you'll probably get an email. From what I remember, you might get an email and it'll basically give you a link, because all the timetables for the courses are online. And then once you get your login and things like that, you can log in and click through it week by week to find out what you've got on. Someone said they are yet to hear from us for January 2023 application. If you contact our inquiries team, so it's inquiries@lincoln.ac.uk, or if you're an international student, it'll be international inquiries at lincoln.ac.uk, and they should be able to help you out with that. The best way to find your roommates, a question in the chat. So you can join Facebook groups if you already know like what accommodation you're in and what flat. So there's various Facebook groups, and and you can normally find your building and people normally post. I remember when I joined, I was in like room 19 in Signet Wall, so we was like, who's in apartment 19, and we were trying to like get like everyone and figure out who was in each of the 10 rooms. So yeah, Facebook groups are really helpful for that. I'll move on to one of the next questions. So what are the best ways to make friends when you arrive at Lincoln? Nat, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so we normally say some of the best ways, is particularly what I found as well, was joining either a sport, a society. We also have like academic societies as well, but you'll have a chance to kind of sign up during Freshers Week to different sports and societies, go to a bunch of different tasters, and normally that's kind of where you kind of meet people, and it's just kind of a great way to kind of push yourself outside your comfort zone and meet other people, because particularly if you're joining a society, there'll be people that have similar interests to you. It's kind of the same with sport as well. So that's often kind of one of the best ways to kind of meet friends, and it's definitely the way that I found it easiest to make friends when I was at university, at least.
Yeah, definitely. Just to add on to that, I'd say because we've got so many like societies, so I think we've got like over 150, but there is like the academic ones, so you can meet people on doing the same course in all the year groups, the sports societies, but because we have so many like really strange random ones, like Taylor Swift Society, for example, that's like, yeah, as you said, a great way to meet like-minded people with similar interests. So that's, yeah, really important. Callum, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so from my experience been here for 4 years, kind of the same as what Nat said and what you've mentioned as well. I would personally recommend, from my experience, to join at least one sports society, one academic society, and one recreational society. So again, that could be anything like Harry Potter Society to like the Switch Society. Because again, it gives you the opportunity to meet a complete mixture of people across, all the university courses that are here. Get to take part in amazing events, and also there's great networking opportunities to be had with academic societies. And also once a year, there'll be the committee election. So you may have one day to become like a president or vice president or events manager of a society, which is, would really advance your skills and knowledge and will be absolutely fantastic to have on your CV.
Definitely. Max, did you have anything to add?
Not much. Sports teams, they often have taster sessions right at the start of the semester. So I know I did rowing taster sessions. I went to kimball. I went to futsal. These are all sports I've never done before. So just an emphasis on sort of trying new things.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say to add to that as well, if anyone's looking for a part-time job, because it's a student city, I've met a lot of my friends through being at work as well, which are both uni students and people who aren't at uni. So that's another way that I've found like a lot of my friends. Someone's asked, what's the earliest date we can move into our accommodation? So if you're in university-owned accommodation, I believe moving in is between the 21st and the 24th of September, but you will be allocated a specific slot. So you should have all that information on email. If you're still unsure, you can contact our accommodation team. So that's just accommodation@lincoln.ac.uk. But if it's private accommodation, you'll have to communicate with them to find out when you can move in. Do you recommend buying the Students' Union wristband for freshers rather than the external freshers wristbands? I think obviously it depends on your preferences. I think you need to go on the websites and see what each has to offer. You might want both, you might want neither, but I definitely see what there is. I know that the Students' Union events look really exciting. I'm quite excited for them, but again, it's your personal preferences. Does anyone have anything to add with that?
All I was going to say was just kind of have a look. They're kind of different. They're different types of events, so there'll be one that appeals to you more. The SU one does include a lot of daytime events as well as nighttime events. So if that's something that you're more interested in, that might be something that appeals to you more. But if not, the city ones don't offer as much daytime stuff. So it really is just kind of personal preference. So definitely kind of check it out and see what works best for you. And a lot of people will wait till they get to university as well. We always try and say buy in advance because it kind of reduces that stress. But if you're a little bit worried and you don't know who's kind of going to what, sometimes buying them when you move in and you can talk to your flatmates and say, oh, I've got this, what are you going to, and you can do it that way as well. So that's always something that is worth doing as well if you're completely unsure and you kind of don't know kind of where you're going with it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. So someone's asked if there's a group for, I think that's MSc in management with HR. Callum, do you have an answer to that?
So you'd find that maybe someone who started a Facebook group chat. We also do have with the Lincoln International Business School, we have a really good Discord chat, which I'd highly recommend joining, which will give you the opportunity to speak to other prospective students. I do have a link for it, so if I can pop it in. Don't know how I can pop the link in. But you can also look onto our Lincoln International Business School page on our website, and there should be a link for it where you can join it from there.
Yeah, great. Someone's asked if they can do their lectures online while they're on holiday. Everyone gets a personal tutor. They're subject specific, so I'd recommend contacting them, and they might be able to advise you on that better. I believe all courses lectures are still recorded, but they are in person, or at least that's the case for my course. Obviously attendance is important, but I would contact your personal tutor and they'll be able to give you advice on that when you get their details, if that's okay. Another question about timetable, probably a week or two before welcome week, you'll get it emailed to you and you'll just be able to log on online and see it for all of the semester usually, so you can get your details for where you need to be via email in the next few weeks. A question about visas. So I'd recommend contacting the inquiries team, and again, your personal tutor, as you're asking about getting an extension of time. So yeah, our international inquiries is just internationalinquiries@lincoln.ac.uk. Should be able to help you out with that. And again, when you get your personal tutor's information, it might be worth talking to them about it too, and they can advise you for your specific circumstances. Okay. So what have we done? So what are the things that students have to look forward to when they arrive here at Lincoln? Nat, do you want to go first?
Yeah, there's honestly kind of like loads that you can kind of look forward to, whether it's freshers or meeting new people. I personally just really enjoyed kind of exploring Lincoln. I came from quite a small town back home, and there wasn't really a lot. So coming to a city like Lincoln where everything's a walkable distance was really exciting, because I got to kind of explore a lot around. There's a lot of what I like to call hidden gems that aren't really hidden gems because everyone in Lincoln knows about them. But if you kind of go on a walk, it's really nice to see. You've got like West Common and South Common. West Common has loads of horses, which I personally kind of really like. So yeah, there's kind of loads. I always just say it's nice to just get out and about. So yeah.
Yeah, great. Callum, do you have the best things to do in the city?
I think it's, following up from that, we've got a really good community at Lincoln, and there is so much that's offered, by the local community. There's those things, that the SU and the university have partnerships with loads of local businesses. I definitely, highly recommend, explore, upwards towards Steep Hill, because, it's just sort of nice and original. You don't really find as many loads of unique, special individual businesses also close to each other anymore. And, just, get out and get exploring. Even after being here for 4 years, there's always something new going on, and, it's just amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I think Steep Hill is a great one, actually. It's hard work to get up there. Well, it's hard work for me anyway, but it is definitely worth it because it's lovely up there, loads of restaurants and really nice places. And it's all historic Lincoln, so if you're into history, it's a really nice place to be. Max, did you have anything to add?
Just similar to what Callum was saying about the sort of historical aspect and getting exploring. The Castle Wall Walk is something I would probably recommend to every student do at least once. It's something a little bit bit different if you're sort of looking to get your steps in. On the top of Lincoln Castle, they offer for a small fee you can go up and get great views on top of the wall, the cathedral, all the city landscape. You can overlook a whole, get some pictures and some good Instagram moments for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Another one that I've just thought of, they are opening a new crazy golf place on the high street in September, and that looks really good as well. Obviously, we've not been yet because it's not open, but that does look really good. So that'll be quite exciting, I think, especially for the students who like things like that. So yeah, that's a nice thing. So our next question, how does the cost of living differ in Lincoln compared to other cities around the country? Nat, do you want to start with that one?
Yeah, sure. I kind of found that Lincoln is quite not quite cheap, relatively cheap compared to other places, particularly bigger cities. I definitely remember in like my first and second year, I had friends who went, particularly friends who kind of went down south and near London, when they were telling me what they were paying, like when they went on a night out or in their local shop. I was like, oh, that feels quite expensive compared to what we pay here in Lincoln. So I'd definitely say it's cheap, on the cheaper side compared to other places. But I always think it's worth mentioning that despite the fact that Lincoln is cheaper than other places, there is a lot of support available, because we know university can be quite an expensive time for a lot of people. So at the SU Advice Centre, for example, we can deliver care packages and offer a food bank if that's something that you're in need of, and we don't require any evidence for that. You just need to pop in and come and have a chat with us, and that's what we can offer you. But the university offers bursaries and things like hardship funds, so despite it being a cheaper place to live, there is always kind of support available if you needed it, because moving to university can be quite daunting sometimes. So knowing that those kind of services are there and available can often be quite helpful. And we also offer a lot of free social activities as well. We've got a really popular Feel Good Sport program. So if you kind of want to get involved in sport, but maybe don't have the funds for it, we offer free social sport that happens every week that's really popular. So there's a lot of different things going on that are on the cheaper side, kind of if that's something that you're looking for as well.
Yeah, great. Just to touch on that, it's not to do with cost of living, but just because you're talking like about support from like the SU and stuff, when it was COVID and we were all in pandemics and stuff, they were giving out like boxes of food to support people, because obviously you couldn't go to the shops. So touch wood, hopefully we don't go into a pandemic again, but it was just really nice to know that we had that and it was there, so we weren't stuck. So the support is really fantastic, I've found, at Lincoln. So just wanted to throw that in there as well. Callum, did you have an answer to the question about the cost of living differing in Lincoln?
Yeah, so I'm from Norfolk, so from living in the East Anglia, I find it to be much more cheaper to live in Lincoln, and that's in both rent and like utilities. And again, because Lincoln is, a small city, everywhere is walkable. You definitely don't need a car. You don't need to really pay for buses or taxis at all. And we have really good, travel networks. For example, you can get like a fast travel train from Lincoln to London, which is about 2 hours. You can also hire out bikes from the university, which is a great way to travel across, Lincoln itself, or to across Lincolnshire. And yeah, I think following from what Nat said as well, and as well as you, Sophie, there's a lot of support that's offered by the University and Students' Union. I'd really highly recommend to see what what the Student Support Centre can do to help, because there's a lot of funding and support available through them.
Yeah, brilliant. We just had a question in the chat. What are common part-time jobs that first year students can get? And should we wait until we get to Lincoln to look for jobs? So I've had a few part-time jobs while working at Lincoln, both on and off campus. So at the moment, I'm working as a student ambassador, a recruitment ambassador, a school ambassador sometimes at the law school, and I'm starting as a careers ambassador in September. So they're all on-campus jobs working for the university as a student ambassador to some extent. The careers team are really great with supporting you to get part-time jobs. So if you're a bit stuck, obviously there are resources like Indeed and stuff like that, or I guess some shops still post in the window like looking for like people to hire. But the career centre, you can actually sign up for weekly emails, and you can pick your preferences, and they can give you all the information about part-time jobs, graduate jobs, internships, work experience, volunteering. You can get all that information emailed to you weekly, which is really great. Or you can just pop in. Campus jobs have a drop-in. I'm not sure when the day and time is, but I think it's like an hour or two a week. So you can go in and have a chat with those guys, and they can support you through all that. They also are really good with helping with CV advice, cover letters. You can book one-to-one appointments, and they have like specific careers advisors for each school. So you're going to be talking to people who know like what you're looking for as well, if it's a course specific thing. So that's great too. So yeah, the careers team are really, really helpful. Did anyone else have anything to add to that?
I was just going to say, the SU do a lot of recruitment in terms of part-time bar work. We have, why is this test my knowledge? We've got 3 bars within the SU, and we recruit for all of those bars. We normally do a recruitment cycle early on, kind of in the first term, for new students. So if that's something that you can do, then we definitely recommend you apply. And it's also very flexible because it's an on-campus job essentially, so we understand that you've got a degree to do, so we're quite flexible in that. But we do also offer sometimes offer part-time work within our offices as well. So for example, at the moment we've got students currently working in our finance department, and within our academic representation department. So we do sometimes recruit within the office as well if bar work's not your thing and you obviously still want part-time work. So that's kind of what the Student Union we can offer as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Did anyone have anything else to add?
I think the only thing I can add on from that is, again, because Lincoln is, a really student-friendly city, you'll find a lot of businesses that are looking, for a lot of, part-time work, and they're really good when it comes to students. So I'd always, recommend do the classic thing, print off loads of CVs, go store to store, and just see what they're offering. And again, they'll understand your students, so they'll be really good round your hours. And also just go to any networking events offered by the university or local establishments in Lincoln. I know a few friends who've managed to gain some really good placement jobs and even graduate jobs just by going to them. And yeah, that's what I could recommend from my experience.
Yeah, brilliant. Max, did you have anything to add?
Just a quick note. I thought it was worth mentioning Indeed, just as a sort of online platform. You'll be amazed the amount of places in Lincoln locally that advertise for all sorts of different jobs on there. It's always worth a go on Indeed.
Yeah, definitely. So Amber has asked about her lecture room for a first day. So it will be on your timetable. And when you go onto your timetable, if you're unsure about finding your room, you can click on it. On the room number, and it will take you to something, I think it's called Navigate Me, and it will basically, imagine like maps on your phone. It can take you from where you are to the building, but not only to the building, it'll take you to the specific room. So it will give you directions to get there. So that's really helpful. So you can do that through your timetable. But also before you start, I'd probably recommend just having a quick walk around campus so you've got an idea of where rooms are, because some of our lecture theatres are massive, like particularly in Isaac Newton building, and the doors are at the very front. So if you walk in late, everyone's gonna like have a look at you. So maybe like if you've got time, have a quick walk around so you know where you're going. But other than that, the timetables do have their own navigating thing. So super easy to find your room. So Amber's asked, how do students travelling from home park their cars near the uni? So Lincoln is really great for walking. It's a really great walking city, but in terms of parking, there are big car parks near the bus station. There's also some free street parking in an area called Sincil Bank. Because it is street parking, it's not guaranteed. So people will be parking outside the houses, and if there's not a space, there's not a space, unfortunately. Does anyone have any advice for parking?
I was going to say, it's always a bit of a weird one, but if you contact student services, they can often help you find the right place or direct you to who can, because it can sometimes be quite tricky, I find.
Yeah, definitely.
I was going to say there are permits that are available offered by various businesses. I think there's one good site I used, which was called Find My Parking Space. There'll actually be residents who would actually give up their driveway really cheaply, so you can actually keep your car there. And if you go and get a house for maybe your second or third year at uni, The permits are really cheap for the year as well. And again, there are accommodations that are offered that can allow you to pay for a yearly permit as well. So that's the only thing I could probably add in from my experience.
Yeah, I hope that helps. So someone's asked about disabilities and obviously accessibility. Oh, I've lost the question. It's jumped. Sorry. Oh, here we go. So I believe you can loan laptops from the library, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It would be worth contacting student wellbeing, and they should be able to support you through all your needs, everything to help you with transition and also give you that assistance when you get to university. So they have got their own website, but I do believe it's probably student wellbeing at lincoln.ac.uk, but double check it on the website. It's really easy to find all the information on there. Does anyone have anything else to add on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so if you contact student wellbeing, they'll be able to assign you to an advisor who will kind of take you through the process of how you apply for the extra support you need. They can look into DSAs, which are disabled students allowances as well. So there's a lot of support available for students with disabilities at Lincoln. But if you make contact with the student wellbeing team, particularly if you've declared it on your UCAS, they'll know anyway and should get in touch with you. But it's always worth kind of just dropping an email and they can get the ball rolling for you in terms of getting the things that you need, because that support is there for you.
Yeah, great. Someone's asked regarding the uni football teams, when do the fixtures get released? Does anyone have an answer to that question?
So it depends on what you mean.
Well, my perspective. They'll be released to you. Oh. That's all.
I think from like SU football teams, if that's.
Glass.
Sorry, these technical difficulties.
Right. I was just going to say, for SU football teams, if you want to join the football team, if you pop down to the sports fair, the teams there will be able to kind of tell you when tryouts are, and then they'll also give you information on what's the word I'm looking for, training sessions, and then fixtures. If you're looking to go and watch fixtures, we'll post fixtures typically the day of, because all of our teams compete in BUCS, which is British University and Colleges Sport, I think. But all the teams compete weekly in those, so they'll get released if there's something you want to go and watch, or if you want to play, you'll get those days far in advance. You just need to go down to the trials, but if you pop down to the sports fair during Freshers Week, it'll tell you there.
Yeah, great. Max, did you have something to add to that?
No, that's kind of most of what I was going to say.
Yeah, okay, great. Someone else has asked about they've applied for January intake. So if you contact, if you're an international student, contact international inquiries at lincoln.ac.uk, and they should be able to help you out with anything like that. Or if you're a home student, you can contact inquiries at lincoln.ac.uk. Someone's asked, how useful is a laptop at uni? Personally, I'd say very useful. I'm really rubbish at handwriting notes. My wrist will ache so easily. I don't know if it's because I'm lazy or what, because I know so many people who prefer handwriting things, but for me, typing is so much more efficient. Also, a lot of, well, from my experience, all my exams have been online, so you would have to type them. So there are computers available dotted around campus. There's loads in the library, both PCs and Macs. So if you can't get a laptop at the moment, or you don't think you need one, there are many computers available. But from my experience, as I say, I'm really rubbish at handwriting things. So I've really depended on my laptop quite a lot. Does anyone else have an answer to that? Nat, do you have an answer?
I was going to echo what you said, and I personally found laptop really useful. I was the same. I don't particularly like taking handwritten notes. I find it really difficult. So having a laptop was really helpful. Again, if you don't have a laptop and you don't know if you'll be able to get a laptop, if you contact student support, they'll be able to guide you in terms of loaning or renting laptops. So again, if you can't afford one yourself, then that's not a problem. We can help you with that. But I personally would say a laptop is very, very handy.
Yeah.
would say it's a compromise. If you don't want a laptop and maybe want something a bit smaller, tablets also a good way around it. I've seen a lot of people over my 4 years of experience here use iPads, Android tablets, and sort of like the Microsoft 2-in-1 Surface tablets. They're really cheap to use and just extremely mobile to use, and plus also something you could buy a pencil with, so you can still get sort of the pen and paper feel. And yeah, that's one other thing I could recommend.
Yeah, great. I'd say as well, uni days and like other student discount sort of places tend to offer really good discounts on like laptops, electronics, tablets and things like that, especially like coming September when everyone's sort of going back to school, going back to uni. So if you are looking at buying a laptop, don't just go and buy it straight out. Have a look on those places first, because you'll probably will find discount. Well, hopefully anyway. So yeah, that's just a helpful tip. Someone's asked what student bank accounts are available and other sorts for saving. So obviously the banks will have all the specific details, but I don't personally have a student bank account, but I know a lot of people who do find it really useful. You can get things such as free rail cards sometimes and things like that as well. So it's definitely worth like exploring all your options and seeing maybe what freebies you can get alongside it too. Does anyone have anything to add to that?
So I know Uni Days do a lot of posts and topics covering this. There's also a really good person called Martin Lewis who covers an awful lot about money saving and also advice for students. Each bank will have their own incentive when it comes to student bank accounts. For example, like with Nationwide, I know they offer you up to £3,000 overdraft. Some companies like Santander, they offer you a rail card, and other ones may offer you other gift cards. So I'd say have a look into all of it and see what you feel would suit your needs. But I'd absolutely recommend having a student bank accounts when it comes to uni, because if you ever need to touch your overdraft, they won't charge you interest, which is really, really good.
I was going to say, looking at the types of overdrafts that they offer is normally quite helpful. So, for example, I'm with Nationwide, and between my first and third year, my overdraft would increase by £1,000. So by my third year, my overdraft was £3,000, and then now I have a graduate bank account, so that is now reducing every year. So it reduces from 3,000 to zero your overdraft, so it gives you time to repay that money. So definitely look into kind of overdrafts and what they can offer you and what terms are and all of those. And like Sophie said, a lot of bank accounts also offer a lot of free perks, so it's good to look at that as well.
Yeah, definitely. Someone else has asked about car parks. So we did touch on this earlier. If you'd like need to go back and get all the information, but you can't park on campus. Some accommodations do offer parking, both university owned and private. But there are some areas in Lincoln. You can look at this online. There's various car parks dotted around and some free street parking as well. So do your research into that. But we did sort of touch on that a bit earlier on. So someone's asked, due to a problem with their application, they won't find out how much they'll be receiving until 2 weeks before I start. So I'm assuming that's a student finance question. I'm not 100% sure how that works. I definitely recommend contacting our inquiries team if you're unsure. So it's just inquiries@lincoln.ac.uk, and they should be able to point you in the right direction. Other than that, obviously contacting Student Finance England if you're a home student to make sure your application is definitely going through and things like that. Yeah. Chelsea's asked, do you have any recommendations of a decent laptop for students? I'm looking to purchase one. Again, I have a MacBook actually, but I don't think it depends on your preferences really. I just found it easier because I have a lot of Apple products, so it's easier to like share things between them. But obviously it's completely up to you. I got it a few years ago and I think I paid for it like so much money per month for like a year. So I paid it bit by bit when I started working when I was like 16. But if you go on like uni days, as I mentioned earlier, there's loads of different normally loads of different options for getting a bit of discount if you buy in a laptop or iPad or anything for the coming like academic year. Does anyone have anything to add?
I think the only thing I can recommend from my experience is you don't need to spend loads of money on a laptop for university. As long as it gets the job done, suits your needs, it's happy days. So for like me as a business student, one of the worst things I've ever done was actually buy a MacBook Pro. It was sort of like overkill for my needs, and I could have saved half of the cost of a MacBook. But I'll definitely have a look at some review sites that sort of recommend what best laptops are suitable for students. And again, it all depends on your needs.
Definitely. Anyone else have anything to add?
I had a MacBook throughout my time at university, but I definitely wouldn't say you need one. I own a lot of Apple products. I'm quite tied to Apple, but I definitely, if it's not in your price range or it's not something you kind of want to invest in, it's not really, you don't need it. So definitely look at kind of options on the cheaper side. But typically Windows are, I would say, probably the most popular. I remember sitting in lecture halls and you would see more Windows laptops than you would Apple laptops. So definitely kind of have a look around and see what kind of works best. Or like Callum said, what your course needs are as well can sometimes determine what's kind of best laptop for you. So definitely kind of have a look around.
Yeah, great. So Holly has asked about changing her accommodation payments to monthly. And said she's not been able to get a hold of the accommodation services. What I'd recommend here is maybe if you've rang them, email them, or if you've emailed them, ring them, because sometimes the different accommodations have their own numbers as well. So I remember when I lived in Signet Wharf, I was trying to ring the reception and I ended up ringing a different accommodation. They sort of transferred me through. So ringing them might be a really good option. I believe the number, you can find it online if you just search University of Lincoln Accommodation Services. If not, and you still can't get through to them, maybe email our inquiries team. So it's just inquiries@lincoln.ac.uk, and they should be able to hopefully send you to the right place and sort that out for you, if that's okay. So Daniel's asked, does each Uni Society take place at different locations throughout the Uni Campus? Nat, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so every society will decide where they want their kind of events or socials to take place. So a lot of them use a lot of university buildings. Sports teams, for example, a lot of them train at the University Sports Centre, but some of them train off campus. And where those train off campus, they arrange transport there. But I would say for the most part, particularly societies, they're all somewhere on campus, whether it's in RSU venues or whether it's in university buildings. So there is variety, but they are all kind of within the same kind of vicinity. So you're never going to kind of be going that far out. But a lot of societies do often do trips kind of further out, and they organise that themselves and will organise transport and things like that. So the short answer is yes, but there's always a lot of variety going on.
Yeah, brilliant. Does anyone have anything to add to that, or that's probably covered it? No, great. So someone's asked, are libraries and other study spaces open at night? So I believe in term time the library is open 24 hours of the day. I believe the medical school might be as well. I'm not 100% sure on the other buildings, but yeah, I sometimes like studying at night time, especially if I've got a lot of deadlines. I will be in the library at the early hours, which is not for everyone. I'm much more of a nighttime studier than an early morning person, but yeah, I've absolutely loved it, and it's nice and it's quiet, and you can sort of go comfy and you sit and you read your books and you do your work, and yeah, I absolutely love going to the library at night. It's quiet as well, so you know you're going to get a good seat too. Did anyone have anything else to add?
I think, yeah, just following from Matt, there's the great thing about being at this university, from my experience, there's so much study space across the entire campus. Again, as I mentioned, whether it's the library, the medical school, there's Minerva, tons of coffee shops. There's something to cater for everyone's needs. The media building, that's also 24/7 as well. And if you're a postgraduate student, actually that's coming to university, we even have our own dedicated postgraduate lounge, postgraduate students with individual rooms that you can book. Like myself, I'm a late night owl. I will do work very, very late at night, but if it's sort of like the one best advice I can give to anyone starting university, try and treat Monday to Fridays and sort of a 9 to 5 experience, so you're making the most amount of your time at university.
just to touch on that as well, yeah, I completely agree. Even though I said I'm much more of a nighttime studier, I think if you can get in a really good routine, I definitely recommend it. If you can do that off the bat, might be a bit difficult after Freshers Week, like getting into the swing of things if you've had some late nights or early mornings. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Getting into a routine and keeping your study hours and your social hours separate, I think makes for a really like healthy university experience. Nat, did you have anything to add?
I think most of it's been covered. I was the opposite. I really struggled to work late at night, but I also struggled to work in complete silence. So I would often go to a lot of the open study spaces. So the Minerva building has a really, really good kind of facilities for studying, as does Isaac Newton. That was my personal favourite to go and study in because that's where my lecture hall was. They've got a really big open atrium that was really good to study. Some of those are open 24 hours and some are they'll be based on what course you do and what accesses you have on your student card. So it's definitely always worth kind of having a little look around and seeing where works best for you. I know some people who never had lectures in Isaac Newton but always went to study there because they just found that atmosphere quite nice. So it's quite nice to go and have a little bit of a look around at some of the different buildings and just kind of see what works best for you normally.
Yeah, there is different study spaces to like cater to your different habits, different people. The library is a nice mixture because they have got a silent study floor, but they've also got, we're losing people left, right and centre. We've got a silent study floor, but we've also got the other floors in the library. You can sort of take a snack and a drink and have a little bit of a chat. Obviously, it's still a library, but again, like Minerva and Isaac Newton, where they've got food as well, so you can be eating your lunch while you study. So they're really great spaces as well. Sandeep has asked about January admissions again. I'd recommend emailing international inquiries at lincoln.ac.uk if you're an international student, or if you're a home student, just inquiries at lincoln.ac.uk. Aisha has asked how far are the closest supermarkets. So we've got a Morrison's really close to campus, 5 or 10 minute walk depending which side of like campus that you're actually on. If you live in the St Mark's, Gateway, Signet Wharf, Valentine Court, that sort of side, really close to Morrison's. Whereas if you're on more of like the library side near 179 the High Street, you could still go to Morrison's, but there's also like an Iceland just on the High Street as well, which is really close, and various like little Tesco's dotted around too if you just want something quick. So yeah, there's plenty of places to get your food shop and things like that. Nat, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was going to say the one habit I wish I hadn't picked up on when I was kind of in first and second year was using the little supermarkets. So there's a lot of like little Sainsbury's, little Tesco's dotted around Lincoln, and I always ended up going there, which cost me a lot more money than it should have. Sometimes walking to Morrison's can feel like a bit of a trek. So one thing that my friends always used to do was do a big kind of online order, which can be kind of a bit of a lifesaver if you don't really want to walk all the way down to Morrison's. So try and not get into a habit of shopping at a little supermarket is all I can say, because it will cost you more money in the long run. So either kind of try and make the trek, or particularly look at like working with all of your flatmates and doing like an order that way normally works quite well as well.
Yeah, I'd also say maybe get something with wheels on, because do you know what, the walk to the supermarkets are fine, like they're not very far at all, but if you're carrying your milk and your juice and your heavy things, it can be like strenuous. I might just be pathetic, but I don't like carrying heavy things for a long amount of time. I'm not very athletic in that sense. So yeah, if you can bring something with wheels, even if it's a case of getting a suitcase and shoving it all in, wheeling it home, that'd be really convenient as well. But yeah, ordering a big food shop to your house, we did that a few times in first year when there was like 10 of us in the flat and everyone sort of put in what they wanted. That was really convenient, and it was quite fun when it all got delivered and you're all unpacking it together. It was quite a nice bonding experience, I'd say. So yeah, that's a great tip as well.
Investing in a little trolley, like the little trolleys you can get, investing in one of those was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, no, definitely anything with wheels so I don't have to carry it. So Patrick's asked how does he join the football team? So is it the sports fair that he can go to and find out all that information?
Yeah, the sports fair will be on the Wednesday of Welcome Week. if you pop down there, the football team will be there. You'll be able to register your interest and register for trials, and then they'll take you through all the information that you need to know through that way.
Yeah, brilliant. So Harry has asked, when do I find out what books I need? So you can access on the library website reading lists, and if you search each module that you're going to be studying, it will come up with the specific reading list for each one. But I will add, a massive mistake that I made coming to uni was I spent £250 on law textbooks in my first year, only to get here and find out I could access them all free in the library, and you can take them out. I took out a jurisprudence textbook this year, and it kept automatically renewing it. I didn't have to keep nipping back to the library. I think sometimes they can get called back if they're on like 1 week loans, but yeah, that was dead easy. And also I found I didn't even need to get them from the library sometimes this year, because when you get your university login, they pay for like a lot of the like resources, so you can log onto websites and literally get a copy of the book online for completely free with your university login. So if you're the sort of person who likes scribbling all over chapters, and obviously you can't do that with a library book, that might be a really good option if you want to print it out or maybe do it on a tablet, so you can annotate it yourself. So yeah, unless your lecturers specifically say like buy this book, I wouldn't rush to buy anything, just because I did regret it when I spent far too much money. Yeah.
That I didn't buy a single book while I was at university. I just used all online, or check them out at the library. So definitely hold off. Don't spend all your money before you get here. Definitely hold off. Some people do like having their own books. So if that's something you want to do, then that I would probably wait till you get here just to find out what ones you definitely need.
Yeah. Perfect. So someone's asked if Lincoln will start taking new applications for admissions for January 2023. Again, I'd recommend contacting international inquiries at lincoln.ac.uk if you're an international student, or inquiries at lincoln.ac.uk if you are a home student. I think we'll just do one more question. Goodness me, what's our how would you register for a GP or dentist? So we're really lucky that we have an on-campus GP in the Wellbeing Centre, so that's really great, especially if you live further away. You don't have to worry about travelling home just for a doctor's appointment. Now, I believe you register, you might be able to find a link to it on the student wellbeing website. Is that correct, Nat, from your experience? Yeah, brilliant. So if you go onto that, it will just like give you all the information you need to fill in, and then you should be able to register. Brilliant. Okay, for all your questions, we really appreciate you joining us today. Please come and visit our open days. All the information about the events we've got on will be on our website, so you can hopefully come and visit us, or just contact us via our inquiries team. We've also got Uni Buddy, which you can download, and it's just an instant messaging platform where you can chat to current students, and you can see what course they're doing as well. So you can ask about course questions, general campus things, but it's a lot less informal than sending a proper email or giving anyone a call. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming.